because we're just carrying on our conversation. And Teresa is here as well. Um, Teresa thought she might not make it on time, but look at, she's here. That's my girl. And Beth from Happy Place Crafting is here as well. See, Beth is going to be all eagle-eyed because it's her turn next week. Oh, and Denise Gardner is here. So just as we're waiting for a couple more people to join in, I'll just say that this is episode 26. I can't believe it. That's half a year. Who knew? And that my guest this week is Judy Hurst. Now, Judy, this is only the second time that I'm interviewing somebody without a YouTube channel. That's why you don't see anything there other than her name. But we will, as the discussion goes on, we will let people know where they can find you, even if they haven't already done so. So that's kind of how we're going to handle that. And now, and Junk Journal Joanne is here. Welcome. I just wanted to, I don't know if this is, if this is something I'll be able to keep up or not, but I was going through some papers and I came across this quote, which is a little bit on the snarky side, maybe, which is kind of right up my alley. So if I remember, I'm going to try to start each week with either a quote or a joke or something. So Unknown said, just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean it's not incredibly stupid. And I think anybody who's ever worked in any kind of a setting or has been on a board or, interacted with people in any way, you've gotten that answer at one point or another when people say, well, if you ask the question, well, why are we doing it like that? Well, we've always done it that way. So anyway. Okay, now is Carol, okay, she's saying in the chat, want to guess where Judy is from. She's singing, all my memories gather round her miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of sunshine, teardrop in my eye, country roads take me home to the place that I belong. Oh, so we got a couple guesses. West Virginia.
That's it. Never thought I'd be living my life in West Virginia. I grew up in Michigan, but a job brought me here. Yep, that was a surprise.
So who brought you?
A job.
Oh, a job brought you. So, and let's maybe dive right into that. Is that the job you were telling me about that you spent 40 years at?
Yes.
I will point out that you could murder somebody and get a shorter sentence than 40 years.
It was more enjoyable.
Oh, okay, good. So you weren't looking for early parole or anything like that?
No.
Okay, so tell us the story.
All right. Well, I graduated from Michigan State and then started applying all over the place. I really wanted to work in Maine, but they were not interested in me. So I finally got an interview. They called me on the phone and they said, we're the School for the Blind. And I'm like, where? West Virginia School for the Blind. I said, okay. And how do I get there?
Excuse me, what was your education in? Like what degree
blind,
have you got?
Blind and visually impaired students is what
okay, that's what you ended up doing, but that's not a program, is it? A university program?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that was my bachelor's degree. And even before I got my job, I was able to go work at a camp in New York for blind and visually impaired individuals, which was an interesting experience too. So anyway, they called me about this School for the Blind interview, and I flew to DC and then had to get on a bus to get to this town of Romney. And I was going through all these towns thinking, oh, this is cute. This is cute. I like this town. This is good. I get to Romney. It has one traffic light. The closest mall was 45 minutes away. I mean, and when the interview ended, the principal drove me around town until I got my back see and pointed out every church and every teacher's house. So that was the big highlights of the town. So I got home to Michigan and I called every place I was interested in, thinking maybe somebody else will want me. So I ended up getting the job in West Virginia. And for the first 2 years, I kept saying, if I stay another year, if I stay another year. And then after 2 years, I've stayed forever now. So,
Yeah. So what was the population of that place?
oh, geez, I don't even know. It was not big, but I have no clue.
And so you were a little bright-eyed thing, so what, maybe 20 or
Yeah,
22
yeah,
or something like that?
too. Yeah.
And why did what so you thought you were going what, from the bright lights to some little hick town and your life was going to be over? Or why were you so disappointed?
Well, it was just not what I was used to. I grew up near Lansing, Michigan. There were like three malls within 20 minutes of my house and all kinds of activities and Michigan State University there. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I had my my college roommate wrote me a letter one time and she said, "Do you have any groups coming to sing in your town?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the Shepherd's College choir." She was expecting, I don't know who, but not some rinky dink little thing like that. But yeah.
Uh, I will point out that you've said mall twice in about 2 minutes. So is that a big? Do you love shopping, perchance?
Well, I did. I'm not so much anymore. It's more thrift stores now, but
Yeah.
that that is funny. My dad wanted to go to Newfoundland many years back, and I said, "Is that where the big mall is?" So, yes, it's been a focus of my life for a while, but not
Okay.
anymore so much.
Just for the record, the big mall is in the capital city of Alberta, the province
Yeah,
that I live in.
I did
So
find that
yeah,
out.
other end of the country.
Yeah.
Um, well, that's okay. So I guess the question that begs to be asked here is why choose that field of study in the first place?
Okay. When I was in elementary school, they had a resource room for blind and visually impaired kids in my school. So when I was in fifth and sixth grade, I would go help the teacher with things with her students or out at the recess or whatever. So that did get me interested. However, then I went to high school and got really enamored by this English teacher I had. So initially, I enrolled as English as my major. Well, then I decided maybe that wasn't really what I wanted, and there was a school for the blind right there in Lansing near where I was, and they were looking for volunteers. So I went and volunteered there for a while. I roller skated with kids was mainly what I did. And so then I thought, no, this is what I'd rather do. So then I changed my major, and I'm glad I did. I can't even imagine myself trying to grade someone's term paper on the allegories in Hamlet or whatever. I mean, I just don't even feel capable of that kind of thing. So this worked out much better for me.
Okay, just to stay on top of who's here, let me say a few more welcomes. Okay, so we've already acknowledged Beth and Junk Journal Joanne and Denise. Trish, Trish's Crafting Whimsy is also here. And she too is, I'm sure watching your every move because she too is going to be interviewed in November. So these guys are all cramming. Um, and then somebody who's new to me is Christina, Scrap Craft and Stitchery. So welcome, Christina. It's always great to have new people finding us. I find it incredible that you were a little altruistic kind of a kid, even at that young age, wanting to help in another classroom, because you couldn't have been much older than the people you were helping, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Because the school only went
um,
to sixth grade.
yeah. So number one, it seems like there were an awful lot of blind people in your area. Is that not a disproportionate number, like statistically in the
I don't
no?
know. I have no
Yeah,
idea. That
yeah,
I was too young to know anything about that.
yeah. Um, it, See, I thought you were going to say something like, oh, I had a grandmother who was blind, or I had somebody or other who lost their peripheral vision or their central vision to macular degeneration or whatever. So that is, I think that I think that's really unusual because a lot of people, including myself, you think one thing when you're a kid and somebody says, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then you think maybe something different when you're 18 and you have to make that decision as to where you're applying or what you're doing next. And then quite often it doesn't, a few more years later, a person realized, well, I didn't think it was going to be like that. And here you figured this out as a kid that then carried you to the point of the, the post-secondary degree and then a 40-year career. So that that is, I think, kind of astounding. So the reason I knew anything about this at all was because I guess at one point on my channel, I must have said that I wanted Braille paper. And there's the belief system that if you tell the universe what you want, it will manifest one way or the other. So it manifested in an email from you saying, well, I've got Braille paper. I have a Braille writer. Or do you call it a Braille writer or
Yes,
typewriter or what do you call it?
Braille
Writer?
writer.
Yeah. And would you like some? So, obviously you sent me some wonderful papers. And I guess that was a little bit near and dear to my heart as well, because, when I was at that crossroads and trying to decide, what do you want to be when you grow up? I thought I wanted to be a social worker. So I took the social services worker program, with just a 2-year college program, not the degree, because the degree would have been at a university a few hours away. And this was a long time ago. And I was in love. I wasn't about to go away to school for 4 years. Anyway, um, so I worked here I was a pipsqueak at age 20, working as the adult caseworker or the caseworker for blind adults in Edmonton. I'm
Oh
thinking,
boy.
holy cow. And like I've always been mature for my years and, not fluffy or anything like that. But really, when you think about the sort of the arrogance of youth, what the heck did I know about anything at 19 or 20 when maybe my clients were double, triple, quadruple my age? But yet it was a very fulfilling time. Um, I, of course, never learned how to write Braille because I had no reason to. So
Mhm.
tell me what that process was like. Is it as hard as learning an oral language, or harder, or easier, or what?
That's hard to say because I haven't learned that many oral languages. I did have to have French in school. Um, I even have taught Braille on an online class for the university here in town, and that was kind of tricky, but it's just kind of broken down in segments. There's a couple parts to it, and one is you just learn the alphabet, which isn't that hard. But then because Braille takes up so much room, they made contractions. They made shortened ways of writing things. So that's where there's a lot of things to learn. Like BL stands for blind and FR stands for friend. And then there are certain configurations that stand for the or and. So, and then there's symbols for punctuation and symbols for
Yeah,
numbers. So there is quite a bit to learn. The class I taught was probably 12 weeks, I guess. Um, so we had to move through it pretty quickly, but I mean, it's doable. It's just, you put your
yeah.
mind to it. But speaking of Braille, that makes me want to ask a question. A lot of times I hear people's videos where they're showing that they've got Braille paper in their projects and talking about being all excited they got Braille paper. And I just wondered where all these other people get Braille paper. So that's my
Um,
question.
well, the only Braille paper, and I pulled out the stuff you gave me because I wanted to have another look at it. It seems like oversized to begin with. It's not an 8.5 by 11 sheet.
Well, some is
Um,
now.
this is actually, 10 and a quarter by 11. That seemed kind of an odd size. Anyway, I worked the federal election in Canada the time before last. And because, we're a bilingual country and we have to be, as election workers, we had to be prepared for visually impaired voters. So if somebody had, wasn't totally blind, but maybe just low vision, we had magnifiers and those sorts of things. But we also had to have the candidates' names in Braille.
Hmm.
So when the election was all over, and at the polling place that I was at, we didn't have a single person who needed that, of course, but it's kind of a right, and it's made available across the whole country in every single polling place. So, in the cleanup post-election, I thought to myself, well, they're just going to throw this in the garbage because those same people aren't going to run, next time. So I scooped a whole bunch of those up. One side is English, the other side is French. Um, I do know somebody, like I haven't been for a while, but there is a junk journal group that meets in Edmonton. And actually, I think one of the members there said that she actually bought Braille paper online and paid quite dearly for it. I think
Mhm.
she bought a complete Braille book, which, as you said, would have been, huge. So I don't know. If I was better at networking, I would phone the Edmonton office and say, 100 years ago, I worked here and now I want some Braille paper. Can you guys hook me up? But I've never done that.
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
need to.
And
Few
now,
more people to, oh, sorry.
go
I was
ahead.
just going to say a few more people to say hi to. Christina's saying, Hazel, you're so on the nose about the arrogance of youth. Ah, the days when I knew everything. And Beth is saying, yeah, it was like shorthand back in the day. Susie Allen is here. Jonna is here. Carmen Rosas is here. Welcome, Carmen. Welcome, everyone. Um, okay, what is. Okay, Carol is saying, I have a friend who is a blind and vision impaired specialist, and she shares outdated high school books with me, but they are few and far between, so I sell them a few times a year. And Scrapbook Sage is here. That's Dawn. Welcome. Um, yeah, it's And the thing is that even though, you know, I had those election names and I had the stuff that you gave me, I'm still hoarding it.
You don't
Bad girl.
need to. It is, Braille books are not as common as they were because technology has taken over a lot for the blind. They can do a lot of reading. They have like kind of like note taker things that they can read off of. And so, but books aren't as
And of course, sorry,
popular.
you kind of froze up there a couple times. And blind, as we know, is not, doesn't mean totally blind. There are all sorts of degrees of blindness. So for the people who are not totally blind, they would have options probably of using laptops or whatever that can really hugely magnify things, right? And I mean,
Right.
enlarge them. Yeah.
iPads
I
are great.
Another thing that was a big deal at the time when I was there was audiobooks, because of course
Hmm.
that's an option also for any of us, and I love audiobooks. Um, and of course, one of the things that I learned as well was, you know, tips and tricks. You know, if I was filling this water bottle back in the day, what the blind person would do was have, you know, one finger sort of over the lip of it, and once you felt the liquid, you knew you were at the top.
Yep.
um, Clients were taught how to fold, and most of those staff members where I worked were blind, so they were talking from real
Mm.
life experience. I guess I was helping in other ways. um, People folded their money. I think that was right now. I think we have braille dots on our currency, but back in the day, you know, you folded your money differently and put it in different places in your wallet, so you weren't giving someone a 20 when you intended to give them a 5, and
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Jonna is saying one thing that she learned in going to estate sales is don't hoard. Use it or give it to someone who will, because it may end up in the landfill because my family, I think she meant to say, doesn't get what I do. So that's good. Now, maybe some of the people who didn't tune in right at the beginning didn't hear how much you love malls, and now your love of malls has translated to your love of thrift stores. So, are
Yes.
you huge in thrifting? Is that a big activity for you?
It has become a big activity for me. And my sister, who now lives around the corner from me, um, she is bigger into it than I am, I think. And so a lot of our trips we plan around thrift stores and stuff. But I'm getting to the point where I know I have way too much stuff. I know everybody on every channel says this. And so I'm trying to curb my trips because
Yeah.
any thrift store I go into, I probably find something to buy and
Yes,
don't need anything anymore. The other thing I'm
exactly.
the other thing I'm kind of getting more picky about, when I first started, I would grab hardcover books without even thinking about it and, digging into them or taking the cover off and putting new pages in or whatever. And now I'm kind of like, well, I kind of hate tearing up some of these large or hardcover books. And especially like children's anthologies. They have really cool pictures, but if it's
Yeah,
hardcover, that's what I tend to hoard. So
yeah,
I was trying to keep it more with paperbacks and that kind of thing. And now even I'm doing a lot of stuff with just junk. I mean, security envelopes and magazine pages and calendars and different things
yeah.
like that. So,
Well, there are so many options, and it is, um, we all bought that bill of goods that said, or no, that's not true. I was going to say we fell for the idea that we need to have everything we saw. And the reality is that if we listen carefully to creators and who have been around a while, they are the first ones to say, if I knew then what I know, if I knew then what I know now, I would say, don't rush out and buy everything. But of course, none of us listened to that. We all rushed out and bought it because we all have to learn things the hard way. So, Susie mentioned in the comments that I went cold turkey today. So, um, I think this has been a thing that was building, and not that there was anything special about yesterday, but I did do a haul video, and I made the declaration to myself and to the world that I wasn't going to be thrifting anymore. And that means, like I get email notifications about auctions here in the province or in my area. And so there were a couple of emails this morning. I just deleted them without opening them. And I don't, uh, I'll give you my address later, anyone who wants to send me a medal or something in the mail. But the, the point is that I made in this long video, I made the case for, I did a pros and cons thing, and I made the case for why it seemed like the right decision for me to make at this point. What I forgot to say is that I already have two other haul videos taped and scheduled. So it's going to look like, oh, wasn't she great? She didn't thrift for 2 days. So I did go in and add a disclaimer sort of thing, but I think it's going to be a test of character. I think some days are going to be easier than others. But when you said that you and your sister plan trips around thrifting, I'm thinking, I've done that too. Where I think, okay, the seniors discount is on Monday. So if I'm going to make a dental appointment, let it be on a Monday. And I mean, crazy.
Well, there was an estate sale I went to at one point, and then the same people opened up a couple weekends later with more stuff. And two people told me about the estate sale, and I said, I'm not going back. Well, my sister doesn't drive, and she called me that day and said, can you come pick me up at this estate sale? Because I bought something heavy. And of course, I went in there and bought more stuff. I found some cool stuff, but
Yeah.
my willpower is good sometimes, and sometimes it's non-existent.
So I think, and based on, the people that watched the video and took the time to comment, I know that most of us feel the same way. It feels like we've lost some control of the situation and aren't happy with the way things are. So, and we've also deluded ourselves, especially in the beginning, into thinking that we could use all this stuff up and or sell the surplus at a magnificent profit, and we will just riches will be ours. And neither of those things are possible or true. So how do you get rid of what you've already admitted is too much stuff?
Well, lately, one thing I ask myself is, who else could use this? And sometimes that helps me, because it's not just my life now as a junk journaler. As a teacher, I save tons of things that I'm just now kind of weeding through. Lots of paper stuff that now I'm kind of glad I have, because I can use it for junk journals, but lots of it is not necessary.
Yeah.
So I try to do that. And then I started thinking, like, when you buy a pack of computer paper and there's 50 sheets in it, and I know I'm never going to use 50 sheets of it, so now I'll pull out some and donate the rest back again. But I mean, this is not in any way making a dent in what I have.
Well, and a person has to have a pretty darn good memory to not go back in a week or a month and buy back what you just donated because you forgot that you had it in the first place. Like, it's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Oh dear. So
So,
so one of the things that again sets you apart from most other guests other than Teresa is the fact that you don't have a YouTube channel.
right.
However, you do sell items through the makers market. And I
Yeah.
would think that probably most people understand that concept. It's set up similar to Etsy, but on a far smaller scale. And essentially, it's like the mall concept. Angela owns the mall, and you have a store in the mall. So, what um, what do you want to say about that whole experience? Has it been what you expected? Are you happy with it? Are you wishing that you were selling more, or because honestly, I think that for most people, selling is honestly the least favorite part of the job.
um, I haven't made too many sales. I have to say, Carol's my best customer. Thank you, Carol.
Oh,
But when it comes down to stuff sitting in my living room or my house, not necessarily my living room, and trying to put it out there somewhere that it possibly could be sold, I'd rather have it featured somewhere because nobody's going to see it in my house, that's for sure. But when I first started doing this, I mean, I became obsessed with making journals. And I was like, what am I going to do with them? Well, first I started giving them to all of our friends and relatives and anybody I could give them to. And then I approached my church and I said, if I get a donation for these books and give it to the church, can I advertise them at church? So I did do that. And I initially got several people interested who even wanted like a special made one. So I got some commissions from it. And my sister, who knows way more about this stuff than I do, has been following it a lot longer than I have, was impressed that I was selling some to people who really didn't even know about junk journals. And so that worked out well. I still once in a while will do a thing at church where I'll bring some in and say for a donation to this cause, you can have a journal. So I'm not in it for a money making thing. I don't need the income from it. So most of it goes elsewhere. So then I'd go exercise at this community center and they had a marketplace for a while. And that was really nice. I really sold a lot at their marketplace. And then new management took over and they closed down the marketplace. So I lost that outlet. So then I got my nerve up one time and went to a fabric store and I said, here, I've got these sewing themed journals. Would you be interested in selling them in your store? And she did and didn't even charge me a commission. So that worked out really well for a
oh.
while. Yeah. And then she closed. So I lost that
She
source.
should have charged you commission. She would have stayed solvent a little longer.
I don't think so, but it was a real good outlet for them. And then I've done
Well, oh,
our
sorry, I was
church.
just going to say pretty um ballsy, pretty ballsy of you to just do a cold call like that to a store.
Yeah.
And because uh, I think we're all vulnerable to some degree, and these things are our babies. And if somebody says no, it's like telling us our baby is ugly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had success in that way. So are you looking for someplace else to sort of replace the this fabric store that closed?
Well, not yet. The other thing I've done is our church has like craft sales. This year it was twice. They had one over in October, which is still this month. And then I did a small one at a mall, and I did okay at that too. A lot of people show interest, not too many buy any, but I mean, I'm doing okay. I don't have
Yeah.
piles and piles of them at home taking up room. I usually get rid of them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's really good. And Carol is saying in the comments that your journals are amazing and so affordable. So
yeah,
maybe that will drive some people to check out your shop. And obviously it would be nice if you got a sale or something out of even your appearance here today. I think that whoops, whoops. Can you still hear me?
I can.
You disappeared there for a moment.
Oh, I kept seeing me.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's hope this isn't a repeat of last week with Sierra because that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it obviously makes a difference when a person prices things to move them. You know, um, I honestly don't know how I feel about that though. Like, I mean, obviously it's good if you can turn your inventory over. But do you run the risk of um what am I trying to say here? Devaluing, like not putting appropriate value on what it is that you're creating. Because we know that, you know, even at thrift store prices, and if you pay yourself more than 25 cents an hour labor, it does, it adds up.
Well, I think Carol was going crazy when she was trying to explain to me how to price mine on the district because I mean, I had no idea how much I'd spent. Um, I don't know how many hours I work on them, and I'm
Yeah.
not doing it for an income. So I don't know. I'm in a whole different boat, and I hope I'm not upsetting people, but I'm not taking any sales away from anybody, I don't think, because most of them are
Yeah.
local. So,
Oh, yeah. Um, there are, and um, I don't know how many of these heart to heart interviews you've watched, but it would be, well, probably 2 weeks ago when I interviewed Yvette.
mm-hmm.
That is another option for how a person could get their stuff out there. And then, of course, we heard, she's obviously not the only one doing it either. So, I
Well,
think certainly that's another avenue if you
I
wanted to pursue it, or if anyone wanted to pursue it.
I had looked into her predecessor, that Nevermore
Oh,
Lindsay.
okay.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
looked
yeah.
into that, but my stumbling block is I don't have PayPal, so I haven't gotten PayPal, so I just didn't pursue it. But I was interested in Yvette's talk, so maybe
Yeah.
someday I'll get PayPal.
Yeah. Well, if I can do it, you can do it. Um, so one thing I didn't ask, and it's probably, a salient point here. How long ago did you start doing this? And were you a crafty kid? Like, obviously, you were a little Mother Teresa volunteer when you were in grade 5, but but were you a crafty kid too?
Yes, yes. I don't know how young I started crafting, but I know for sure in high school. Um, I like to do art and drawing in high school and lettering. If a club I was in needed a sign or a poster, I was right there volunteering and doing all these fancy fonts and everything. My mother taught me to knit and to sew. So I mean, gosh, I can't believe we made clothes back then, but I did. I knitted a lot. Um, I cross stitched on gingham, made these little aprons for everybody with gingham. I Another thing I've done, and I wished I knew for sure I had done it every year since high school, but I made my own Christmas cards. So I started out with like linoleum block printing kind of thing, and
Oh, yeah.
some years I made little cookbooks and sent those as my Christmas card, and so I've done that for a long time. So then when I went to the School for the Blind and lived in the little town of Romney, I don't remember how I got started going to a quilt group, but I did join a quilt group and did lots of quilting. And that carried on through until, well, probably in the 80s, I got started getting carpal tunnel, so I didn't do as much quilting. However, when COVID came, I pulled out a quilt I had started 42 years ago and finished it. Now I want my medal in the mail. And I finished a second one that I started in the 80s, I think. So I got two quilts finished during COVID. That was one good aspect of COVID. Um, I still have more crafting to go through. Do you have a question?
Well, so, well, well, it sounds like it's been a lifetime. So is that, um, Carol wants me to ask, do you still journal every day?
Yes, every day.
I don't know how she knows that you journal every day, but so what's the story there?
Well, I want to finish my crafting history.
Oh, okay. I was going to say though, would you say that since we can't say, oh, you started your channel in such and such a year, when did you start? When did you get involved with the Makers Market? Is that just a couple, 3 years ago? Or were
Yeah,
you actively selling before that locally?
yeah, I was selling locally before that a little bit, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a couple of years, I think. So anyway, then I got into scrapbooking. My neighbor took me to a Creative Memories event and got me into scrapbooking. So I did that, and then I transitioned into oh, now I'm blanking on what it's called, Project Life. So I did that and started doing that in COVID. Well, my sister lived in Seattle at the time, and right before COVID hit, her husband passed away. So I went out to Seattle, um, like the week before they started shutting things down. I went out to Seattle to see her, and so she was talking all about junk journaling, and I came home and started looking at videos. For some reason, I didn't even know you could sit and watch YouTube videos all day until she pointed that out to me. So then I got into, like, I was doing smash books and um, started doing the junk journals, but that was like just during COVID. So then my
Yeah.
sister was still out in Seattle, and I was watching Marguerite Miller, and I said, why don't we do this thing where we one of us will pick 5 prompts a week, and we'll each make a collage, and then at the end of the week we'll compare them. So we did that for quite a while. We took turns pulling out 5 prompts and making collages. So I really enjoyed that. And then she finally moved out here because she just didn't even know anybody in Seattle. So now she lives around the corner from me.
And you guys are enablers for each other.
Yes, yes, unfortunately.
When
So
you
it's
were
all her
talking about,
fault.
oh, yeah, yeah. When you were talking about some of those early things and making posters in school, it kind of reminded me of my daughter. And I'm just curious, are you a firstborn perchance?
Yes.
Well, Do I know how to pick them, or do I know how to pick them? Not that my daughter's the firstborn, other than there's so many years between her and her brother that it's like having two firstborns. But that just hit me because I'm thinking, as firstborns, we want to be helpers. We want to be appreciated. We want brownie points from our parents and our teachers. And we were kind of little suck ups in a way, because pick me, I'll do it. I'll make the poster. I'll do this. I'll do that. Sometimes almost to our own detriment, I think. But anyway, let's go back to Carol's question about journaling every day. What is
Oh,
the deal there?
well, part of how I keep getting to make journals is that I use them. And
Okay.
so I usually I'll put like 2 months worth in a journal. And so I have, like, I make a new journal every couple months, and then I do a December daily. And yeah, even if I write nothing more than I did laundry and made a new recipe and that kind of thing, I can usually fill up a page with stuff. Sometimes I'll put a quote, or sometimes I'll add a picture or something to fill up some space if it's a really dull day. Um, so yeah, I
Okay.
enjoy it.
So, in our before going live, you mentioned a daughter. Do you just have the one child, or do you have more children?
Now I have one child, and this will surprise you. I didn't get her till she was 13.
Oh, so she's adopted.
Yes,
Um,
she
is
was foster
she
care first, but
is she the kind of kid that is going to appreciate what mama has done, and the supplies you have, and the plethora of completed journals with all your outpouring about your menus and your laundry, and the fact that you're raw guest on Heart to Heart, is that going to all go to the landfill?
yeah, I'm afraid it's going to go to the landfill. They know how to push my buttons. If I go over there and they say, "Do you want such and such?" and I say, "No, I don't want it," they said, "Okay, we're going to throw it out." Give it here. I'll at least donate it to Goodwill. So yeah, I think they'll keep my quilts. I don't know what they'll do about the journals, but anyhow, we'll see.
Yeah.
They may want to look at
um
them and see if I wrote anything nasty about them in them, but I haven't.
and so, yeah, that's always a kind of a thing that, um I guess maybe sometimes that's a hesitation, whether people journal or not. So if it is more like a recitation of what you did versus you're spilling your guts out on the page, um, there's no danger it's going to fall into the wrong hands and
Right.
scar someone for life or anything like that. So do you do the deeper stuff as well?
No, not really. No. Um, I don't write that down usually. I mean, I might tell
Yeah.
my feelings about something, but I don't write anything negative that I wouldn't want anybody to read.
Yeah.
So,
I know somebody that, and I just wanted to say hi to, well, Vicky is here, Retro Queen Bee Art, and Cotty is here, and Hope is here. Welcome, ladies. Welcome. Um,
none of my peeps are showing up.
well, what the heck? And the thing is that because you don't have a channel, we can't even let you stream this to your channel. Start not stream it, but have it on your channel tomorrow. So people will definitely, you'll have to give them what for, and then drive them to my channel to watch it on replay if they don't show up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so yeah, I was going to say that I know someone who makes beautiful journals, sells beautiful journals, gifts beautiful journals, and then makes her own, I think, fairly plain Jane. I've never seen one, of course, that she puts her heart into. And once she's completed, once she's purged that stuff, she actually burns them,
Oh
I
my.
guess, rather than having it, you know, hurt someone after the fact or whatever. So, yeah, I think that for for most of us, like, well, speaking for myself, the only time I would tend to do that is if it was a particularly difficult time and I was trying to work through something. So maybe the fact that I don't feel the need to write anything very deep very often, maybe that tells you what a charmed life I'm living.
Yes, yes. I feel that way about my life for the most part. Um,
Yeah.
there's one lady I watch on YouTube. I think A Call to Create, and she kind of does what I do. She shows her journals every 2 weeks, and she just shows what she writes normally, and her style reminds me of what I do
Oh, yeah.
because she actually writes in them. Yeah.
Denise is saying, Judy, and this is all caps, Judy, we are now your peeps. um,
Yay!
yeah. And Teresa, of course, is asking, because Teresa's like, she's actually my agent, I think. And anyway, she says, if everyone would take a minute and give Hazel a like, that would help her out. And Carol is saying that you have a channel, just no videos
Right.
yet.
Well, she keeps
So,
saying that, but I don't know that it's going to happen.
well, and I thought earlier you said that your sister knows a lot of stuff. So does she know how to make videos? Like, could she guide you
She's
through it?
she's not interested in it either. She is
Oh,
on
okay.
she is on Instagram, I think, but I'm not even on Instagram.
Yeah.
I get kind of frustrated with technology at times when they keep wanting my password and I know my password and I've got it written down and it doesn't like it and it won't let me on and I
Yeah.
don't know.
You're speaking to the converted here. I think we all have our complaints with that and how, you just get reasonably comfortable learning a platform or a process or, whatever. And then of course, to serve you better, they then change it. So
Yes. Yeah.
uh oh, Carol is saying that channel is a call to create. Is that
Yes.
what you said? Yeah,
Yes. A
okay.
call to create. Yeah. Sue is her name.
So, do you know a Tyler Mick?
Yay, that's my grandson. Yay.
Hello, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler. I won't be
Uh,
offended if you get bored.
what? Hey, don't let him off the hook that easily. How old is this kid?
14.
Oh, well, very good. You're among friends, and your grandmother has just been impressing us with everything she's been saying.
Yep. And
Um,
he's my travel buddy.
well, and does he live nearby? Like maybe he could be your tech support. He probably knows everything. He probably knows more than all of us combined.
Probably his stepdad does live videos already. So,
Yeah. And somebody, wait, who is this? Asking about, sorry, I need to go up. Oh, Trish is asking, what about Instagram to show your completed journals?
well, I could. I just haven't done it. I guess the district is my online presence.
Yeah.
So,
Just for the heck of it, do you have something nearby that you want to maybe pick up and show us?
okay. Yeah, well, let me tell you one other thing I decided to do to keep my creative going and not having to sell so much. And I think you were on, Angela had a retreat one time, and I showed what I did last year. I started making mini journals to put in the shoe boxes for Samaritan's Purse. So last year I made 51 mini journals, and my goal was to make 100 this year, but I'm only up to 60. So I don't think I'm going to make it, but I'll kind of show you. It's going to be a little dark, but I'll kind of show you what I've done here.
Okay.
So, oops, I covered up something here. There we go. All right, let me switch this around. I did figure out how to do it the other day. There we go. Okay. So
So are those the minis?
these are the mini journals, yes.
Okay, so
They're
give us an idea of like give us some context. How big is a mini?
they're
They look
about,
pretty big to me.
oh no, they're like 4 inches by 3 inches. They're
Oh,
I
very cute.
What I started using were boxes that little powdered drink packets come in.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was using for my covers. And now sometimes I make them out of the backing of sticker packages. I'll make that into a spine and a cover, and I'm
So
going
this
backwards
this
here.
is essentially another charitable donation because you said you're donating this to a particular cause and it'll become part of a Christmas gift to somebody less fortunate. Is that the
Yes.
gist of it?
Yeah, the Samaritan's Purse shoe boxes they send to different countries all over the world at Christmas time.
Oh,
So, yeah.
well, that's very nice too. Oh, by the way, Tyler went to his room. So,
Did he explain that to you?
well, he said going to my room.
Oh, okay.
And
And then did he sign
Teresa's
off?
saying that well, he's 14. I guess maybe that was his version of goodbye.
Yeah, okay.
Teresa saying that people can find your pictures in the show and tell section on District. And
Oh,
Susie, oh, but now you've already sat down again.
oh,
Um, well,
no.
she was saying, let's see one, but um,
Oh. Well, I can
okay.
show
And what,
some other ones, the ones I
well, and
drew myself.
oh, sure. Yeah, show us that.
Okay. Um, this is one of the first ones I did. And it's kind of a December daily out of a cracker box. And
Okay.
but instead of journaling in this one, I put all kinds of ephemera I had saved about Christmas over the years. So I've got all kinds
Okay.
of things in here, mostly cards and some images I
Yeah.
liked. Oh, here's some paper I marbleized one time at a class. So
Cool.
that um,
Okay. So Carol put in SamaritansPurse.org.
mhm.
Christina is saying that's so cool to see all those journals. Carol is saying children from third world countries who geez, children from third world countries who receive a shoebox gift. It's the only Christmas gift they ever received in their lifetime. That's very nice. And you know what? That is, I guess that without maybe intending to, maybe there is a very clear message in that to all of us that since we're all swimming in abundance of supplies and materials and tools and so on, that maybe the focus should be less on monetizing that and finding out places to give those things away, enrich our lives and someone else's life in the process. And I
Yeah,
can see um, why you keep on doing it because it's I it's going to someone who presumably is going to appreciate it. Um,
hopefully.
Okay, so Teresa's saying, love that. I did that with Christmas things I had received from this awesome community. Um, Judy's saying, I love thinking Judy's journals are priceless gifts. Good resource. Thanks for sharing. So now this charity might get inundated.
Well,
And of course, we never, whether it's an ugly Christmas sweater or, an appliance, which I never like to receive as a gift. Um, None of us ever really know for sure how our gifts are going to be received by the recipient. But I think that if we're doing it with our hearts in the right place and the good intentions, um, you know, it it's good to do it. Um, and maybe among people who are more disadvantaged, there's probably more genuine gratitude than there is among, and I don't want this to sound bad, among our friends and relatives who want for nothing and can't understand what the heck we're doing and why. So um anyway, you've lit a little, you've my pilot light came on.
Well, I have a little story about talking about appreciation. Um, One of the sales I did at the mall, this is going to be my word of the year, I guess.
Yes.
It was sponsored by the thrift store that supports animal causes. And so they wanted people to donate something to auction off um, when you signed up for this. So I made a cat journal and was very disappointed when I found out that it was stuck in a basket with cookies and a couple romance novels. And it was kind of in the back. And I thought, nobody's going to bid on this for the journal. They're going to bid on it for the romance novels or the cookies. They don't even know what the journal is.
Yeah.
Well, many weeks after that, I received an email from a woman who said that her daughter had gotten the cat journal, and her daughter was a special needs woman and loved animals. And so I got a very heartwarming note that this actually did go to somebody who appreciated it. And I felt really happy for that I got some feedback.
And the cookies were good too.
Well, I don't know if she even got the cookies, but I wondered then if somebody had weeded that out and gave it away and they kept the romance novels and the cookies. But anyway, it went to someone who appreciated it. Here, I'm going to show another cover anyway. I like covers, and this one actually has Helen Keller on the front of it, which is appropriate.
Oh,
But this is
yes.
one of my own with Reader's Digest. I do a lot
Yeah.
of Reader's Digest and Little Golden Book ones. So,
Well, Reader's Digest books are aren't they just kind of great? The
yeah.
old ones, of course, with the decorative covers, not those shiny ones that break where the spine breaks off. They kind of seem to be just the perfect size.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well,
I
that
won't tell you how many Reader's Digests I have waiting to be deconstructed.
Oh, well, I also belong to a group in town called Morgantown Arts Association, and they have classes. And the one lady told me one time she had all these Reader's Digest books that she had inherited, and could I do a class on making a journal out of a Reader's Digest book? So we did do that, and I've done a couple others around the area classes. And the other one I like to do is making a junk journal out of a VHS tape. The boxes are just such a great size, and
Yeah.
I make a lot of my own travel journals. So, like, here's the Black Beauty VHS tape that I made my travel journal out of. So,
That's very clever. And
oh,
goodness
I really
knows,
like the size.
yeah. if some people are still going to thrift stores, usually you can find those for next to nothing because the technology is so outdated that, you know. Anyway, let me just see what's going on in the chat. Okay, Denise is saying good resource. Thanks for sharing. And she's talking about this Samaritan's Purse. Susie says they're going to cherish them. And then Carol says the reason it's their only gift is that by the time Samaritan Purse gets back to their area, they age out of the program. There are so many in need. So is this a US thing or overseas somewhere?
It was started by Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son, so it could very well be a US project only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did look up one time how many boxes they give, and I decided there's no way I could ever make more journals than what they give out. So I have an unlimited source of making journals.
Yeah. So because Christmas is the obviously the deadline or the, you know, the goal, how long, like, did you sort of keep track when you started and how long it took you to do those 60 that you have done already?
Yeah, well, I started probably right after the last one. They collect them in the middle of November, so I don't have much more time this year. I doubt I'll get up to my 100, but I'll get a few more done. And it's such a scrap buster. You just can use all kinds of little leftover pieces of scrapbook paper and ribbons and whatever.
Yeah. Okay, Susie is saying, do your VH tape is your VH tape cover cut, or is it like a garage for a journal?
Is it like a what for a journal?
Well, I say garage, you know, like where you park a car.
Yeah. Oh, no, I cut them. Yeah, the bottom's open, and then I cut off the right-hand side and the top, and it forms the journal. Yeah, like here's that.
Oh, and Carol is saying it's a US program, but the gifts go worldwide.
Yeah. See, this is
okay,
the box, yeah.
So how again, you know, it's too bad we didn't have more of these questions or more ask more of these questions while you were in that area. Those little minis, how big are they? Are they a one signature? Are they
Two.
How many pages? Oh, two signatures.
I put 6 pages, 6 folios in each signature. And then I do, well, I'll get up and get one.
Too bad Tyler isn't there with you.
I know, he would be helpful.
Carol, doesn't everyone say garage?
So, like, here's my hand.
Oh, yeah. Very cute.
And it's just...
I love making mini books.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the last sale, my sister said the preteens really love the mini books when I was trying to sell some. But I put pockets in them and belly bands, and I try to put stickers, like a pack of stickers in each one, and so it just just for
the heck of it, do you know what is the age group that you target? Or maybe Carol knows that.
Yeah, there's different categories. There's like a real young baby group, and then there's like a 5 to 10 or something, and then a 12 to 15. I'm not sure. Maybe Carol will look it up, but
yeah,
you can specify a group and a gender. Age group and gender. Good.
Yeah. That and you know, I think that I hope that, you know, no matter who the guest is, I really hope that these these interviews get people thinking, not only here in the thick of it, but after the fact. I know that lately I've been like in our community, which is like I live on a farm, so community of about 400 people. A couple of years ago, the school was closed because, of course, the school division central office, you know, an hour and a half away, they don't get it. Um, anyway, a very dedicated group of people moved heaven and earth to reopen the school as a charter school. They opened in September. They have something like 125 kids enrolled. And of course, they get the per capita grant that every school in the province gets. But of course, they need so much else. So I always have a box going of stuff that I feel like, oh, some kid in school could use this. A creative teacher could use this. So I've donated many items, but I'm also thinking that they must have a fundraiser, probably, you know, that they're thinking about. Um, so why am I not donating a journal to go with the cookies and the Harlequin romance? You know, as part of a raffle prize or whatever. So I am going to be following up with I'm making that commitment to follow up with them this week and see if a raffle is in the you know, in the works, and if not, maybe it should be. So you know, I think hopefully everyone who's everyone who's listening and either live or in the replay will start thinking about their own community, their own circumstances, their own area, and find places where some of these things could go that you know, enrich somebody else, make us feel all warm and fuzzy inside, because let's face it, that would be the warm fuzzy feeling to give, you know, to someone else. And you know, in the process, get rid of some of those supplies that we're all being tormented by. Anyway, I want to just, Carol did look that up, and the age groups are 2 to 4, 5 to 9, and 10 to 14. So you must be aiming at the oldest age group.
Yes.
Looks like Denise is definitely interested in doing it. Junk Journal Joanne says many churches sponsor the Samaritan's Purse shoebox donations. And Carol says that they do shoebox parties each year and stuff a bunch. Stuff a bunch.
Well, what I used to do was put together a whole shoebox and include one journal. And then I found out they need fillers for people who didn't fill up their boxes. So that just gave me a whole wide open opportunity to make as many as I wanted. So,
Yeah. And not have to putz around with those other things. Do what you're
right,
good at.
right.
Okay. So apparently November 17th
Mhm.
is the deadline to get the boxes in or sponsor some online. And Susie wants to know if your sister also donates. Is she as crafty as you are? Does she donate to this
She,
cause?
no, she doesn't. She's not as, I don't know.
She's not as wonderful as you are.
No, I don't want to say that. But as she did say, I was a very giving person one time. And I think she thinks that's opposite her, maybe. But she's very artistic and crafty, but she's more into photography, and she does a lot of collage type of things, and so she's at a different level. In fact, she took pictures for this book that I was going to talk about.
Oh, the book. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
So anyway,
So,
she wouldn't let me give her credit for the photographs in the book because she didn't want to be known for these kind of photographs, which
oh,
are
okay.
below her
I,
artistic style, I think.
oh dear.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. If this should almost be a new feature on these interviews, what surprising thing does our guest have to tell us? Well, it turns out that this woman is an author. So tell us the story of the book that you have written, and apparently your sister has done the photography for.
Yeah, she has. And this is gonna reveal the surprise I told Carol I was gonna send her. But just
Oh,
yesterday, I got the proof of my book, the first proof, and it's Did You Find the Blue Bunny Yet? And it's a story, it's a true story of a game I used to play with my daughter. And then after she had kids, I played it with the grandkids and stuff. And it's um, just a little game we played. And so it's kind of like a Where's Waldo book. Let me find a picture here where you have to find the blue bunny. And it's not super hard to find the blue bunny. I didn't make it too hard. But here's an example of one of her photographs she doesn't want to be known for. So, anyway,
okay.
yeah. So,
Well, that's pretty exciting.
yeah, it's a vanity press thing. And my grandson has great faith in me. He said, "What if you make $1 million?" That I'm ordering 40 copies. I'm not going to make $1 million. He said, "But can't you order some more?" So he's got high hopes for our little book here. Oh, I got to show you the picture of the grandkids. This is a long time ago, though. They're both teenagers now.
So that's Tyler?
That's Tyler when he was like 3 or something.
He looks very studious with those little
Oh,
glasses of his.
that's not a word he gets called very often.
Carol says that she loves it, Judy, and it'll go into her little library, and her granddaughter will love it. So
Uh,
that's very sweet.
well, I should have them
Uh,
before Christmas, but we'll see. I should be before Christmas.
okay, are you going to be selling your books through Maker's Market?
I will. Yes, I will definitely try to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so for people who don't understand, Vanity Press is where the author is paying for their own
Right,
production, so to speak.
right,
So that's why the small print run, because obviously you're not going to spend thousands of dollars printing copies that, may or may not sell.
right.
So, but so how soon will you have that listed in your
Well,
shop?
it'll be a couple more weeks before I get anything beyond this one copy. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So are you supposed to be proofing that and making sure that everything is good? Or
that's
you're
what I
past the
did.
proof?
Yeah, that's what I did yesterday. He's supposed to have been
Okay.
ordering them today. So he said 2 weeks,
Okay.
but everything they've told me has taken longer than what they told me. So we'll see.
Carol is asking if there's an on-demand order purchase option
Um, Not yet, I
where you,
guess.
no, I think what she means is where you don't have to pick a number. They just print it when you make a sale.
Oh, oh. We didn't really talk about that. I can reorder, but yeah, I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know what's the fewest they'd print. So I don't know. I can
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're not afraid of hitting the streets and the malls to get your stuff out there. So do you have any plans now? Yeah, we're almost in November. Do you have any plans for any Christmas markets? Are you
Um,
working towards that?
just our church has one, and I'll do the one at the church, and that's it.
Okay.
I I can't do any of these big ones. I don't have the supply to do anything very big. So
Yeah.
about
Well, and quite often, the bigger these sales, there is, obviously a cost to them. And
Right.
renting a table or renting a booth, and sometimes you have to pay extras and have a door prize. And if it's a 2-day thing, then you might have to stay and out. It just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Denise says she wants to reserve one, so you can put her on a list. Carol is saying several of their friends are selling their digitals in books through Amazon, and she thinks it's on-demand printing.
Okay.
So maybe,
They did offer me an Amazon choice, but I thought I'd wait and see if this flies at all. So
yeah,
I switch to Amazon later if I want.
yeah. Well, that sounds good. Um,
Well, I don't know.
so
I don't know how to get in touch with Denise, so she could just look on the district in a couple
yeah,
weeks.
Denise, do you heard that? Obviously, you have to just watch for the listing in um, district.
Yeah.
Um, so what, like, it sounds like you're very busy. So how long ago did you retire? I'm assuming you are retired. So how
Yeah,
long ago?
definitely.
And there's no
Um,
moss growing under you. So
no, 2014 hired. I
oh
did
my
do a
goodness,
little
it's been
bit
a
of
while.
special work. Yeah, but I did do a little special work with the blind after that. For about 12 years, I worked at a summer camp where I was the director for blind kids. And it was a small group, and it was a lot of fun. I got to be very creative. And one thing I've realized with the junk journals and some of the activities I did with the blind kids is I like themes. So my journals often have a theme to them. And so did a lot of the activities I did with kids. So that's something that motivates me.
One thing that I didn't put on my list here to remember to talk about is I know that when you sent me some happy mail, you sent a little Judy. So what's the story on the little Judy?
Well, I got the idea from, I think it's Catherine of Sunnyside Journals. I think that's who she was called. And she always had a little Catherine that she
Oh,
displayed. And so then I saw one time this company called Sticker Mule sent me an email in my junk mail sort of thing. And they said I could order 10 stickers for $1. And I thought, well, my goodness, I'm not going to pass that up. So here's where my sister's expertise came in. She got it so it was ready to be printed as a sticker, and I sent it away. And so I did like them. And then since then, I've also gotten little charms with little Judy on them. Um, I don't know if I have one
well,
close
I
by.
think what you sent me was a keychain.
Oh, it's a little charm. I think it was a little
Oh,
charm.
I didn't bring it here to my desk, but I thought it was bigger, like a couple of inches tall.
Well, I can go get one.
Well, no, that's fine.
Okay. The other
Uh,
thing I've done too, I sent one to Carol, is I got stickers made of the Blue Bunny from Sticker Mule. Now that you can't just keep getting 10 for $1. That doesn't work except on occasion. But they do have some sales that are good. Yeah, I don't want anybody to think they're going to get 100 stickers and only pay a couple dollars, but they have
yeah,
some pretty good sales and I take advantage of them.
yeah. Um, Okay, Carol's saying, I love my little Judy journal stickers, and now I have a charm. Yes, I may be Judy's biggest fan, but I'm glad you're all joining me.
Well, I appreciate how much Carol supports me. I hear her mention me a lot on her videos, and I do appreciate it.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you were in the workforce for a long time. You're obviously very active. You're, like I said, there's no moss growing under you. So are you a goal setter? Are you a list maker? do you have goals? Like you don't have a channel, but you have goal. Obviously, you want to sell the book now, and you have a goal with the little mini journals. Um, are these sort of goals that you have written down someplace? Or you just sort of say it to the universe, or is it all up here?
Well, one time I read a book called 20 Wishes or something like that. And I sat down, and in my scrapbooking book, I've got little pockets of 20 things that I hope to do. So at that point, I did set a goal. I have accomplished a lot of them. Um, one of them was to see Hamilton, and
Oh,
the play Hamilton. And I kept
yes.
telling people that I was only going to be able to afford to go if a high school did it. But I finally did get to see one in Pittsburgh, not the original cast, but um, another one was to write a book. Another one is to travel a lot with my grandkids, which I have been doing quite a bit of that, especially my grandson. We're hoping to take the train to Florida over Thanksgiving and spend a couple days there. Um, and my sister and I travel a lot. I hadn't written this goal down, but one thing on my bucket list was to see Rod Stewart in concert. And he's been in yeah, he's been in Pittsburgh 3 times, which is only an hour and a half from where I live. The first time I couldn't find anybody to go with me, and I didn't feel like I had the money. The second time I don't think I even tried. Last summer I bought 2 tickets. I was going to go see Rod Stewart, but he was in partnership with Billy Joel. And when Billy Joel got sick, they canceled the concert. So then I looked up where else he was going to perform, and he was going to be in Las Vegas for quite a few days. So my sister said, well, I'll go to Las Vegas with you. So last month we spent a couple days on a trip to Las Vegas, and I got to see Rod Stewart in concert. It was very good, but I don't think I'll be going back to Las Vegas. That
Yeah,
was over.
I don't care for that place one little bit. Um, that is another thing that I find a little bit shocking, but I'm glad that you got that off your bucket list. And it sounds like your sister, even though maybe she's a little bit, aloof, uh, she also sounds like she's a pretty good sport and maybe a partner in crime with you on some of these escapades.
Oh yeah, yeah. She and I travel a lot. But she wouldn't go to the Rod Stewart concert with me. She went to Cirque du Soleil, but it was right
Oh,
in the hotel where we were, so I was fine with going by myself.
Joanne must be reading my mind. She just put in the chat, is your sister watching tonight?
I
And
didn't give
if
her
not,
the
why
link
not?
because I didn't give her the link.
Oh,
Now
and
I'm not sure.
maybe her ears are burning.
Yeah, now I'm not sure I will.
Oh dear. So I do have to ask my purple question. Where on what side of the issue do you come? Where do you come down on that issue?
Well, I will tell you when I was a teenager, I had my room painted lilac. So that was one point for purple. Um, Now I'm kind of like, I mean, I'll buy clothes in purple, but it's not what I aim for. I'm a blue person, really. That's my favorite color. And in journals, it's like, if I have a picture of a purple flower, then I'm going to match it with some purple paper and stuff. I don't have any
Yeah,
objection to purple, but it's
yeah.
not my favorite.
Well, and purple is a neighbor of blue on the color wheel, so we're totally okay with that. I
I'm
just
okay.
have to read Teresa's comment. So she says, so funny. No mosh pits, just older fans sitting down mostly. The funny thing, there's still a sniff of certain items in the air. That's back to the Rod Stewart thing
Well, he can,
concert.
at 80, he can still shake his hips.
Oh dear. And what is your answer to the introvert question?
I feel like I'm an introvert in certain situations, particularly if I'm at a party where I hardly know anybody. I'm uncomfortable and don't really open up. But on the other hand, I've been a teacher. I've given seminars about teaching, not seminars, but workshops. I've taught classes for junk journaling. You know, in that situation, I guess when I'm kind of in control of things, I'm more of an extrovert.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's obviously those of us who count ourselves as introverts, we can do all those things, and we do all those things. It just, I think the key is preparation. Like, number one, we wouldn't want to disappoint anyone or embarrass ourselves. But also, it is such a relief when it's over. Even though it might be a wonderful experience and the people are gratified that we did whatever we did, they learned so much, blah, blah, blah. It still is a draining activity. So, um, yeah, I think it's a wonderful way to live, frankly. Jonna, we know, is team blue, so she's on the same side as you in terms of color. Trish is saying that she would have gone to Rod Stewart with you. She saw him 3 times back in the 80s. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Carol is saying, me too, Judy. Introverted person, extroverted teacher, and then I have to recharge. And so wait, Teresa's saying to Trish that someone saw him in the 70s, hot pink suits and all. Well, yeah, I have no desire to see Rod Stewart.
No.
Okay. And that's totally fine. Um, so what else might you want to tell us about your life? Maybe upcoming projects that you're tackling. Are you the sort of person that takes part in collaborations and challenges and that sort of thing, or are you kind of on your own path doing your own thing?
Well, I have done the Christmas in July that Carol sponsors. Um, Other than that, I don't collaborate with anybody, I don't think. One thing my sister always wanted to do was have a swap for our supplies, and we got the community center to sponsor a swap. Well, what I found out is more people came to just drop stuff off than to actually take things. So I did get a lot of supplies, but then I had to figure out what to do with all the leftovers. And um, that was a case where it was close to summer, and there are some summer projects with kids. So I was able to donate all the leftovers to that kind of situation. But I haven't wanted to do another one because I don't want to deal with giving away all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, and it's true. People, it's kind of sad though that people would kind of view it as a dumping ground rather than picking up. But
well, I
and
did get
certainly
some
you.
good stuff.
Oh, I was going to say you don't need to be exposed to more free stuff to pick up.
Oh, let me tell you about another friend. Um, I have a friend, Joan, who worked at a library and planned summer camps for kids, and they were all thematic. It was like princess and oh, she'd do like Madeline and American Girl doll and stuff. Well, she bought a lot of materials herself, and now she's no longer working, and she's trying to get rid of all this stuff. So she was donating it to me. The first time she donated me 26 pounds of stickers, ribbons, um, Dover copybooks, just all kinds of stuff. So lately I'm telling her, just don't donate it to me anymore because I've got too much stuff, but really good stuff I got from her. And somebody put a
Yeah.
question one time online: what's your best way to get free stuff or something like that, or inexpensive stuff? And I said, just tell your friends what you're doing and they declutter and it all comes your way. I had a lady at church who gave me all these books from her youth in the 40s, and she gave me a whole box of these books. So it's pretty cool.
When I look at the people in my life, I don't think any of them have anything that I want. Like they're not those kind of people. I don't know. How did I hook up with them? Um, so Teresa is, oh, Joanne, we never have to wonder what Hazel thinks. Because when I said that about Rod Stewart,
Oh,
Jonna says that she loves my honesty. Okay, Teresa said, Judy, that's why my husband said no more garage sales. The family brings their things and leaves them for us to get rid of.
yeah.
And then Carol thinks that I should host one of those if I'm having withdrawals from not thrifting. Yeah, no. Yeah, if I get the shakes, I'll let you guys know, but I don't think I don't need to be vaccinated against this in any way. So you mentioned collage, and I wanted to, okay, we've been at this for, I guess we should almost start winding down. Oh, Hazel, that's why you have us. I don't know what Carol hears. Maybe she needs to go to an audiologist, but she thinks that I say garage funny. And she says she's going to start a garage jar and then go thrifting with it. Because for a while there, Teresa was putting money into a swear jar because apparently, if I swore, nothing bad, I don't think, but anyway, another story. So we will start winding down, but I do want to mention a few things. So I've already said, and in fact, if you watched, hey, Susan's not here this week. I totally love it. I did send Susan my November lineup. So just to let you know, we've got Beth from Happy Place Crafting next week. And then Kelly. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a good one. She's from Collage Lab. Trish, who's in the chat here, Crafting Whimsy, she's going to be up on the third week. And then we will have, believe it or not, a mother-daughter duo at the end of the month with PM Artist Studios. And I think that's great. So that's one announcement I wanted to make. Tomorrow morning, I'm having a play date with Caroline from Caroline's Craft Tree. This will be the second time we're doing something like this. The first time we were dyeing linens, like doilies and ribbon and all that kind of stuff. And then tomorrow we're going to be using alcohol ink. And so I'm thinking that we might have to rename this series The Blind Leading the Blind, because honestly, well, I said that to her in an email and she says more like deaf and dumb too. So I don't know. And I want to put in a plug. I think I mentioned this last week. Kelly, who is going to be the guest, that would be November 12th, hosts something. Apparently, this is year number 6 called hashtag Trovember. So Trove, Trove, and then Ember, like MBER. So the month of November, every day she's going to offer one prompt, and that is the one thing we add to a substrate. I've never done this, but I can't wait. Add that one item, whatever it is, add it to a substrate, and then at the end of 30 days, of course, you have a finished piece of art. Um, okay, so people are excited about, okay. Well, Trish, I'm glad you're excited about alcohol links because I'll tell you, I bought that a bunch of used ones years ago, probably about the same time I started my channel. Have used them once, I think, and never really got totally into it. So I have today I was running around like a chicken without a head, gathering up stuff to try because we're not doing this on paper or fabric. It's going to be everything else under the sun. So I was cramming and watching some videos. You obviously pulled something out that you're itching to tell us about or show us.
Well, I just thought I'd show one of the collages I did with my sister, one of the Marguerite Miller ones.
Oh,
That
lovely.
it was like Brad's random letters, birds, buttons, and a craft supply I haven't used for a long time was the 5 prompts. So, and these letters are all Brad's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. Hey, I'm the interviewer. Of course, I have a question for you. Uh, I love Marguerite Miller, and I love what she does. Did did she switch to a paid club membershipy type thing a couple of years ago? Or
I
is it
got,
still free to take part in that?
well, you can watch her videos. One time I bought
The
like her
album?
sheets, yeah,
Yeah.
but I bought it in a way I could print them off.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Oh, I did that too.
yeah, but that's all I know. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it sounds like maybe, well, mind you, you got your hands full. You're making mini books for the shoe boxes. Okay, Trish, it's well, here, let me type it in there. Whoopsie. So for those of us who love doing collage, I can hardly wait for this. Um, oh my goodness, I wish I would have remembered to look up uh, somebody who's done it for several years. Showed her results, and she had done some on a stretched canvas and some on heavy watercolor paper, and they were beautiful. So I really can't wait. And I'm just thinking if anybody else wants to jump on the bandwagon, by all means, do so. There's still a couple days to sign on. Um, okay, Judy, what are your final words to the group?
Well, my first final word is to you. And I'm
Oh,
so honored to be on your radar, even to have asked me to do this. So it's very, very nice. So to the,
well, thank you. Um, you know, again, probably because of where I live, I don't get a great deal of happy mail. I get, annual exchanges of happy mail with people like Carol and Angela. At Christmas when we go visit our son in Denver and kind of we all get to save on some shipping costs and so on. So it really warmed my heart when you sent me some happy mail because really, um, you know, you didn't need to. It was like you heard me say something on a video. You felt that you could make a wish come true, which was Braille paper, and you just you did it. And you also made a bunch of purple ephemera to go with it. So
I heard you like purple.
yes, you heard right. um I was thinking that, for anybody who's going to be a guest, I think that the typical MO, in fact, when I invited Kelly, who I didn't know from Adam, I do the same thing. I sort of cold call some people that I admire. and invite them. And like my feelings are a little bit hurt right now because I reached out to two really big people and haven't heard a thing. So I'm going to just be nudging them a little. I'm a big girl. I can take it if somebody says no, but I would hate to think that anyone ever gets so big that they don't feel they have to answer an email. So just saying. But so I think so there's Kelly probably watched watched some of these interviews to get a feel like, is this woman real? Is she a crackpot or what? Anyway, I'm thinking that, okay, you hinted, you knew the purple question was coming. You knew the introvert question was coming. I don't want to be that predictable. So I have to throw some wild things out there too. So I think that I want to ask you, maybe we'll start something new with you. Um, Maybe what's the one thing you've done that you're the most proud of? And it could be, related to what we're talking about here with the crafting world and crafting life.
Oh boy. Um, I guess what I might say is that we took in a foster child when she was 13 years old and eventually adopted her, and my grandkids are her children. So that's probably the proudest thing I've done. So that worked out very well.
Well, and honestly, that I guess knowing how you started out volunteering, um, at such a young age, I guess none of us would be very surprised by this. But I have to say, that's a pretty gutsy move. Uh, people want to get rid of their kids when they're teenagers, never mind take one on that they, know nothing about. So, um,
Well, she was a
that's awesome.
she was a student of a fellow teacher. And so I did learn a little bit about her, and I got to meet her before we volunteered to be foster parents. And so for most of her teenage years, she was not very teenager acting. I kept saying, when are you going to become an obnoxious teenager? Well, she finally did get to that point. We had some struggles for a while, but now it's good.
That's how we know she's normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, and I always say that, when mothers especially get all bleary eyed and, not bleary eyed, but teary eyed, so very sad that their kid is leaving the nest. And I'm thinking, that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. You should be darn worried if they're not going. That's when you should be crying because
Yeah.
clearly something's not good.
In
So,
one of my teaching classes, they said normal development is they grow up, grow away, and go away.
yeah. And when the economy is at its worst, they come back. And sometimes they bring a spouse and kids with them. We don't want that either. Well, that's great. So maybe, um, oh, but see, if I do this in the future, I should reverse the order of this. What is something maybe that you're kind of not that proud of or kind of embarrassed by or can't believe you were so naive or whatever? Like, is there anything kind of in that realm or have
Boy,
you always been a smart
these,
cookie?
these are the questions you should have given me a heads up on.
I never give questions ahead of time.
mm, um, Gosh, I'm sure there are things.
Well, let's put it
I
differently. Any regrets? Like you obviously didn't regret your career path.
don't know.
Um, you learned to love the fact of where the job was located because clearly you stayed.
Yes, yes, for quite a while.
Yeah. Maybe
Um,
regrets is too tough a question. Well,
well,
we'll end it on a happy note of foster kids.
all right, yeah, because the regret I just thought of was kind of sad. So I'll
Well,
share it if you want. Um, I probably regret that I didn't spend more time with my mother at the end of her life. She had Alzheimer's for 14 years.
Oh my.
Yeah. And in fact, my mom and dad lived in Myrtle Beach, and then she got sick and he had some other issues. And so he was going to move back to Michigan. And I said, well, you know, your siblings are getting older. Their kids are going to watch over their parents. I said, why don't you come to West Virginia? So he did. And it's odd because there were four of us in the family. I wasn't even wanting to come to West Virginia, and it ended up all four of us have lived in West Virginia now because I was here. But so my dad ended up passing away before my mom with cancer, and then she was in a nursing home here for the whole time she was here. And yeah, it was really hard to go visit her. And so I do feel regretful about that. That's, you know, she didn't know who I was. And,
Yeah.
you know, I tried to do what I could, but it was hard.
Yeah. I think that I would like to believe that you're not, that no one is going to judge you harshly because of that. I think that it's an incredibly difficult condition to deal with. Um, I think that, you know, people, caregivers, refer to it as the 25-hour day. In other words, that, like, especially if a person is caring for someone at home, a spouse or a parent or whatever. Um, so, you know, sometimes you have to kind of save yourself too, in a sense, and not be consumed by a condition that is really outside of anyone's ability to properly deal with. Um, I mean, obviously, you will feel what you feel. I just would hope that you cut yourself some slack, um, because I think you're the kind of person that if it had been some other condition where your mother would have been coherent and aware, you would have been there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was more so for my dad.
Yeah.
Um, he was much more um, able to communicate and all that. Even though he got sick, he was able to communicate, knew who
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Now we better think of one final thing so that we're not leaving each other on this note.
Well,
Um,
I'll just say don't look for any videos from me anytime soon.
Maybe you have to tell Tyler that there will be no trip to Florida unless there's a video, unless there's a YouTube channel very soon. But you know, seriously, I think, you know, I can pull your chain and tease you a bit, but I think truly you have to stay true to yourself and only do what you want to do. Clearly, you're keeping busy, you're doing things that are very satisfying to you. So, no, we don't all need to follow the same path. And honestly, you'd be saving yourself some grief, to be honest, because it doesn't, it, you know, it's very, there are certainly many rewards. I wouldn't know you or any of these other people without it, but it comes at a cost. So, um, if, if the day comes that you're ready, we'll be there to support you. But if you never want to do it, well, more power to you because you don't need to.
I post a lot on the show and tell on the district. That's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of my social media presence.
Yeah.
So,
And I essentially put my shop there, in the mall, into whatever I don't know, suspended animation or whatever it's called. That's not the right word. Because of the whole tariff thing. And I'm thinking, why would I want to invest any more time in beating my head against the wall when it feels so good to quit and stop doing that? So, yeah, I haven't been to district for ages, but now I guess I have to go and look at some people's journals. Okay, Trish is saying this was a great interview. I enjoyed meeting and learning about you, Judy. Two amazing women. Well, um, Beth is saying thanks for sharing, Judy. Fabulous interview as always. Hazel hugs all. So maybe on that uplifting note, we should wind this down and again remind people that if you want to get an up close look at what Judy has available, um, and keep an eye peeled for her book as well, then the place to go is to the Makers Market, and to also consider donating some of our handiwork just to the benefit of some other cause and some other more disadvantaged people. Anyway, my dear, it has been a pleasure. A pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, good night, everyone. And hopefully some of you can join us tomorrow for The Blind Leading the Blind with Alcohol Ink. Okay, good night.
Good night.